So in this lesson, you're going to learn how to draw a bedroom in one-point perspective, and we will draw the basic structures of the furniture, and then we'll add some details, some accessories in the room. What we want to do first is we want to find where our vanishing point is going to be, because everything else in this drawing is going to be in relation to this vanishing point. So the first thing we're going to do is draw some lines to make our walls, and then after that we'll do the bed. The most important thing I want you to remember is to draw lightly, because what can you see here? Yeah, you can see all the lines where I erased it. If you'll draw very light until you know it's right, then you'll be able to erase without seeing all of your guidelines. Okay, so what I want you to do is be as precise as you can, because if you're very precise, then everything will work out properly. So lightly draw a line from corner to corner with your long straight edge. It's almost like you're drawing as lightly as you can, where you almost can't see it. So from corner to corner, and then you should end up with a big X on your paper. The next thing we'll do is we want to put our back wall in, but we want to make sure we have enough space for the furniture. So what I suggest is between the middle point and this corner, if we were to imagine the halfway point, that wouldn't quite leave enough room for furniture. So find the middle point between here and here, and then scoot back just a little bit towards the vanishing point. Okay, this intersection in the middle is our vanishing point. And I'm doing a little vertical and little horizontal, and that's gonna mark the corner of my wall. Okay, so if you look here, this is the bottom corner of the wall right here.
Does it look off?
If you did these lines precisely from corner to corner, then our next steps of the process should match up.
I'm gonna do one again.
Yes, ma'am. Here, I'll come. Y'all can stay, I'll come. Okay, so now we're gonna get this rectangle, and that's gonna be our back wall, but we have to make sure that we use verticals and horizontals. Are we just gonna guess? No, we're gonna use our tool. So this drawing triangle is very helpful, and if you don't have one at home, in the next video I'm going to show you how to make one. For those of you that are home that don't have access right now to one of these, watch the screen. You're going to line up the bottom of the page with this edge of the tool, and then draw the vertical. You're going to go from this line to this line. Yes, now watch. Look at the screen. Here's an easy way to do it, because this can get confusing. Rotate your tool. We just did a vertical. Now rotate it counterclockwise. That's opposite direction from the clock. Line up this edge. See my finger? Okay. Make sure that's lined up before you draw your horizontal, and draw this horizontal between that line and that line. Yes. Now you can keep going, and if you do it precisely, it should meet up. Okay, if it's slightly off, you can just kind of adjust it slightly. If it's really off, then you need to erase and go back and correct.
Oh, who is she? Would this count as being off? It's off.
So now go right here and erase these lines. We don't need these. Leave your vanishing point. Mine was slightly off right here, so I can just kind of fudge it a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the bed. And basically we're going to start out with just a box in one-point perspective. If you look at this one looks more like a box. This one does not have a footboard, so you can see better kind of how we're going to do this. We're going to start out with a horizontal rectangle, and you want to make it tall enough, you know, imagine how tall and how wide your box mattresses would be. And if you look at this diagram that I gave you, right here, there is a rectangle. Now this is just the basic diagram of how this all works. There's no details here. So we're gonna start out, draw your rectangle, try to make it kind of in the center of the room, leave a little space down here, use your tool and make your verticals and your horizontals. So kind of imagine first where it will be, okay, and how tall, and then check your verticals. Remember to draw lightly. I keep switching my triangle tool because this big one runs into this document camera. Okay, so you should have a rectangle like that. Well, I just kind of imagined I left some space over here for some furniture and some space over here, and then I left some space here. So you can just kind of imagine and then center it in this middle there. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Just a rectangle?
Yep, just a rectangle.
We use these?
Yes. Use the larger triangle if that one does not reach across.
I thought we just put it down. Or do we have to put it in a certain place?
You will, to do your verticals, line this up here with the bottom of the page. To do your vertical line, slide it over, line it up here, do your vertical. I had to switch to my larger triangle to do the horizontals. And when you're drawing a horizontal, you will line it up here. So let me explain how I got this here. We started out with our rectangle, and then we basically drew a box. This went from this corner to the vanishing point. Okay, that's how we got this line. From this corner, we went to this point. Okay, that's how we got this line. And then we did a horizontal by lining up this edge of the paper. And that's how we got the horizontal. All right, so now we will add the headboard and possibly the footboard. If you look in this example right here, this one does not have a footboard. Okay, you don't have to put a footboard on it. But what we want to do is, whichever way you want to do it, we're going to start out by drawing some bedposts. Okay. However tall you want to make them, just make sure that they are the same height. Okay. There's all different styles of headboards, so you know, be creative. Take a few minutes and design your headboard and footboard. You can make it however you want. I don't really even have to have posts. You know, some headboards will just come straight up. And I'll try to make it symmetrical. Maybe this kind of goes up in the middle and comes down. It's not quite symmetrical, but alright, so maybe that's just a plain modern headboard. So you can all imagine that you are interior designers. Alright, so the next thing you can do is add some pillows. And it makes it more interesting if you'll make some large pillows and maybe have them hanging off the side of the bed. They don't have to be perfectly straight lines, you know, might be a fluffy pillow that has some curvy edges. Well, they're kind of like rectangles, but just kind of not so straight, not so perfect edges. And this one, if you'll look, my pillows are a little more rounded on the corners. And then I added 2 more little square pillows. So you can add some little throw pillows.
What are those? What are throw pillows?
Decorative pillows. Pillows that you really don't need. I don't use them at my house because they always just end up on the floor. Now notice, if you are not putting a footboard on, then what you can do is change the shape of your rectangle and kind of make some wavy lines. Okay? See how you can kind of...
You have to make those little...
You don't have to. Okay, you can add details like that later, but if you'll slightly change up these straight edges to more of a kind of a slightly wavy edge, then it'll look more like a fluffy comforter. You can put some little feet on the bottom of the bed.
Wait, feet? You know, the foot of the bed that holds the whole bed.
Yeah, like right here, like this one has a footboard, and here's the bottom of the mattress, but the post, the bed post, is right here. So you have some space under the
I'm
bed.
not doing that.
Challenge yourself. So if I want to do a footboard that kind of matches the headboard, then I can bring it slightly higher than the rectangle. We do have a footboard here, but I could also kind of make this line a little bit wavy on the edge to make that look a little more fluffy. So if you look at this dresser right here, it's just a basic rectangle, okay? And this one has little feet on it, makes it easier to vacuum under, right? Here's a couple more that I did earlier today. We're gonna start out with this rectangle, but we wanna make sure that it makes sense. We don't want our dresser to look like it's floating. We wanna make sure the bottom corner of the rectangle is sitting slightly below the baseboard line. So here's how we do this. You're gonna come down here. I'm gonna make a little vertical and horizontal line where I want the corner of that rectangle to be. And then I'm going to take my drawing triangle and just draw a rectangle. And sometimes if it works out, I'm using this small drawing triangle. So this is exactly the width that I would like my dresser to be. So I'm just gonna draw 2 verticals while I've got it lined up. And then I will line up this tool. Look at the screen. Do you see my finger lined up here? Whoops, I gotta slide it down. Continuing to line it up here and then draw the horizontal. Okay, will we see this baseboard here? Nope, so erase that. Okay, you got that far yet?
Not yet.
It can be a single stack of drawers like this, or it can be
How did you get there?
it can be a shorter, wider dresser with 2 drawer stacks. You want your rectangle to be taller than your bed. Here we are on the back end of the dresser. And you're just going to draw a vertical line to close off the back of it. Make sure you line your tool up here, right here. If you look on the handout, these horizontal lines on the dresser, are they actual horizontal or are they going somewhere? Where are they going? Yes, they're going to the vanishing point, okay? Now what you can do is on this left side, determine where you want those. So on our drawing, we'll come in here and make a little mark where you want your drawers, because you might want the bottom drawer wider and the top drawer skinnier. So just come right here on your drawing and make a little mark. And then you're going to line those marks up with the vanishing point. This point lines up with this, and draw your line. Now, if you have handles, you probably should put handles on your dresser. But what you got to do is make sure that they line up vertically. Whatever style that you have, these have double knobs. Just make sure that you're making yourself a vertical guideline to line them up vertically. So if I want to put a column of knobs here, and then a column of knobs here, then it'll make more sense because they will line up vertically. Now we have about 10 minutes left of class. I want to get the basic structure of the window. If we look back at our handout here, where do the tops and the bottoms of the window go? To the vanishing point. What are the sides of the window? Are they horizontal? Nope, they are vertical. So we use our tool. So over here, just decide kind of where you want the sides of your window. Maybe like here and here. Come from the vanishing point. Decide where you want the top of your window and come from the vanishing point and draw the top of your window. Rotate it down clockwise. There's the bottom of the window. So the top and the bottom, they both go to the vanishing point. My tool is not quite gonna make it. Make sure every time you're lining your tool up with either the side or the bottom of the page, depending on what type of line you need to draw. Okay, so now we have the sides of the window. For our window panes, so right here we have a great big window with just four window panes, 4 panes of glass. And so what we can do is kind of imagine where the middle of the window would be. We're going to use our tool to draw a vertical line. If you want 6 window panes, as in this handout, then you're going to kind of determine where you need to space these out and then line those points up with the vanishing point. So if I wanted kind of divide this side up equally, just kind of imagine there, and then line the vanishing point up here. And here. And then we have a basic window. Y'all get that far yet? Anybody need help?